A selected group of humans are sent to a mysterious remote island in the middle of the ocean. These humans have somehow evolved into a new race of people known as the Talented. To the rest of the world, they are considered as their only hope in surviving the war between humanity and the alien monsters who have come to Earth to destroy all of mankind. These monsters are now commonly known as the enemies of humanity. The story begins in an unknown year, somewhere in the early 2000s. Our main protagonist is a boy named Nano Nakajima, who lives here on this island among the other talented human race. However, he was apparently born without any talents, and thus leading him to be an embarrassment to the rest of his family, who are quite the opposite. His father had ordered him to leave at once and was sent to this academy to eventually find out his talent, and so he is also far away from his family. This island seems to be some kind of training camp or school for all the talented people and is completely isolated from the rest of the world. The island doesn't receive any communication from the outside world, unless someone calls the teacher from the headquarters, which are the owners of the island and the task force to destroy enemies of humanity. Nakajima is an outcast and a subject of bullying in the class due to his lack of powers, and gets picked on by his peers. One day the teacher introduces two new students to the class, the first being a boy called Kailia Onodira. After a crybaby big mouth named Ijima Mogo, the class brute demands Kailia to reveal what his talent is, but the teacher interrupts him and tells Mogo that his talent remains a secret. This makes Nakajima suspect that he must be very powerful, as those who like to keep their talents a secret normally have the best abilities in the class. After, a pink-haired girl walks in with a bubbly personality and introduces herself as Nana. She doesn't keep anything a secret at all, and immediately tells the other students what her power is, which is mind reading. But not only can she read minds, but she can also dig deep into people's mind and look at their past experiences and memories they had from a very long time ago. She explains how she's always listening to people's inner voices and likes to help those when they are overthinking too much. The teacher tells her to sit at the back of the class, and this happens to be the seat next to Nakajima. She immediately discovers through Nakajima's mind about the rest of the class looking down on him, as that's all he thinks about. He gets nervous when a beautiful girl like Nana sits down next to him, and can't imagine how a girl that looks like her would want to even help him in any way. Due to her reading his personality traits, she already wants to become friends with him. She starts to find out more about him using her powers, and discovers more about Nakajima's past life memories, before coming to the island, and comes to realize that his dad was a very proud millionaire, who was disappointed in his son for not being useful in the family. Nana knows that Nakajima wants to do everything possible to win back his father's approval. As a way of keeping his father's respect, his father gave him the responsibility of looking after the family watch, and Nakajima promises to keep it safe. Nana also knows that Nakajima needs to get a chance to be the leader of the class, something his father will be proud about, but she knows he will never vote himself in, so Nana quickly volunteers for him to be the new class rep and points out all his best qualities. However, the two most popular students, Mogo and Seiya, also voted themselves in. An argument occurs on who will be the next class rep. At this moment, Kailia begins to stop all the arguing, and proposes a duel match between the three to settle it instead. After school, Nana follows Nakajima home and asks if he would show her around the island, as she still feels very new to everything. As Nakajima walks her around, they talk about their past lives before coming to the island. And while talking, Nana nearly fell down, but Nakajima quickly saves her. She tells him that she felt some sort of entity push her away, and they both think it might be one of the enemies of humanity. Later at night, they're both walking back to their dormitories, and Nana brings up Nakajima's relationship with his father. This annoyed him, as they are his personal and private memories that he doesn't want to discuss with anyone. However, she continues to try and understand how he feels, but he gets upset with Nana for bringing up things that are personal to him. She still doesn't understand why it was a problem for her picking him to be the class rep, since that way he can finally prove his leading abilities to his father, which is all he ever wanted. But Nakajima tells Nana that voting him in is pointless, since it's impossible for him to win as he doesn't possess any talent. The next day at school, Mogo the Fire Brute and Seiya the Ice Wizard are ready to fight for the position to be the new class rep. They enter the battlefield and use a series of attacks against one another, until Seiya uses ice magic to freeze his legs and wins against Mogo. This humiliates the brute, making him extremely angry. So Mogo uses all his power to form a huge fireball and throws it at Seiya, but it nearly hits the entire class, until Nakajima jumps in the way and stops the huge fire blast, thus revealing his hidden talent. It turns out that Nakajima's power is to nullify other people's talents, so he can stop another person's abilities. For some reason he kept this a secret as he thinks it's useless compared to other people's powers. However, everyone is shocked by this and thanks Nakajima, and because of what he did, he became the new class representative. Nakajima decides that he should thank Nana for being his only friend in the class, and the only person who stood up for him, so they both meet on a mountainside. They begin to talk about the enemies of humanity, and the possibility that there was an infiltrator in the school, since these monsters could take any kind of form, even human forms, so even a student could very well be one of these monsters. It is at this moment that Nana's cute persona changes to a dark one, and she eats him off the cliff. Bewildered, Nakajima is holding onto a thin rope for dear life and asks her what is going on. This is when Nana reveals how she's actually a talentless student and isn't part of their talented race. She's actually just a normal human being, and it turns out that the enemies of humanity that the talented students are training to fight against don't actually exist, and there are no giant monsters which they read about in their textbooks. But in reality, the real enemies of humanity are in fact the talented beings. She explains to Nakajima that around 5 years ago, the normal humans got sick of these talented individuals which were rapidly increasing around the world. These new form of humans who could possess